I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup officials closing out 2022 Season 3. Where the hell did these last 12 weeks go? Absolutely unreal, but it is championship night. We will crown a champion. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth as always by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what, Bizzle, 26 cars, 25 cars, whatever it is on the entry list. So we've got a decent size split of 13 cars. But Pocono is so huge that I really think we're going to see all 13 of these guys stacked up together for this entire race.
Yeah, this is definitely a draft track for these cars. Turn 3 is the only one where they can kind of get split apart, but you have that, 3/4 of a mile long front straightaway that they're going to draft right back up and catch each other by the time they make it down the Trenton Speedway down there in turn number 1.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We were having a discussion earlier whether this should be a 3-turn or a 5-turn racetrack. Maybe we'll explain the logic. Maybe we won't. We'll decide what we're going to do here. But qualifications just getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack. And let's pick up the guy who will be your 2023 Season 3 champion. Thomas Lewandowski putting together just an absolutely incredible season.
Dominating. I was just about to say, dominating all season long. I don't think there's been a race that he hasn't been up front in.
Yeah, he has been, well, quite frankly, phenomenal. And I don't know that there's any other way to say it here. Looking at the numbers, in 8 weeks of racing, 16 starts, 8 wins, 14 top 5s. His average start is 2, his average finish is 2, and he's carrying a 133-point lead into tonight's race.
That's just a handful. It's one race, 2 races?
Yeah, probably about a race in hand, just based on what the SOFs have been. Tonight's strength of field, 36-10. It's a strong field here, and Lewandowski that we're looking at carrying the number 2, which is crazy because he's got a 68.77 iRating. The guy who's higher, now second quick on the board, Derek Love, 71.34 is the iRating, 52.162. The lap timer record. He's second quick as Brandon Buckberger heads to the top of the charts, 52.130. Only 3 100s separating those cars as Thomas Lewandowski get a slot right in between. 12 1,000ths of a second separating Buckberger and Lewandowski as Lewandowski sails that Team Watson Racing setups number 2 off into turn 1, now heading down the Log Pond Straight. And one of the things we talk about a lot, Bizzle, is just the fact that this place, it's hard to understate how enormous it is. 2.5 miles, you're thinking Daytona, Talladega, but it's not those either as Derek Love goes back to the top of the charts, 52.037.
Yeah, this place it's the same length as Daytona, but this place just feels so much bigger. I go 24 every year, and wandering around that track, I guess it's because it's a 24-hour race too, but it just feels kind of small. Like everything is right there where you want it. I remember at Pocono, we were down in the media center, and we're like, let's send me to go shoot turn 1. It felt like I left at 10 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get the turn 1 until the green flag dropped at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's exactly right. It is, especially if you're going to walk the outside to get this really cool shot into turn 1. It's about a 40-minute walk from the media center to go under the racetrack. If you kind of look at the overhead here, right about the middle of the press box area up top, you have to go down under the racetrack. There we go, right at the start-finish line. Underneath, up, and all the way down to turn number 1. It feels like you are walking for hours trying to get around this place.
Keeping in mind, you're not walking along the racetrack. No, you go through some, like, woods kind of off the beaten path, and all of a sudden you see a TV tower in the distance, and you kind of cutting through the brush like Rambo, getting to the TV tower, and then you go, oh, there's turn 1.
Oh, that's awesome. James Watson over the start-finish line to complete his qualification run, and he will be the last driver to get a lap in qualifications.
It's not even the best part, though. After you complete your walk and you're sitting there, finally getting settled in, some jerk from NBC comes driving along in his golf cart, he waves at you and climbs up in the TV tower.
That is exactly right. But capacity crowd out here at Pocono for tonight's season finale as we're getting all the cars out onto the starting grid. And let's take a look here. We will pull up. Well, we'll get you some graphics ready here. We'll show you the starting grid for tonight's Silver Crown Cup race. Starting on the pole in the Street Side Customs number 1 will be Derek Love with a lap time of 52.037 seconds. Only 17 thousandths back in position number 2 will be the National Racing Network Driven to Save Lives Special. That is the number 3 of Brandon Buckberger. Row 2 will have the Ream, number 20 of Josh Batista. You'll see him as the 6 on timing and scoring. Lining up to his outside, finally getting to a car a tenth of a second back. It's going to be the Martin Sports Team Watson Racing setups, number 2 of Thomas Lewandowski. Row number 3, the Grand Poobah at Team Watson Racing. James Watson lines up in position number 5. He will carry the 5 in timing and scoring. You'll see the car is the 39 out on the racetrack. Ben Carswell in the Team Watson Racing setups National Racing Network number 48 will line up to the outside of row number 3. He will be the 12 tonight on your timing tower. Row number 4, the Bitcoin number 9 of DL Lemon lining up alongside of the 7-Up Hoosier Tire number 7 of Mike Barry. Row number 5, the RaceDayCT.com ZAS Designs Team Watson Racing setups, number 44 of Zach Scott Nicky. That car will be the 10 up on the timing tower, lining up alongside of the Kibu, number 8 of Laura Gerhardt. Laura very quietly having a nice season here in the Silver Crowns. We'll talk about her a little bit more in just a few minutes. Jeffrey Stanton, the Big Evil Designs Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94, inside of row number 6, alongside of the Spotify, number 11 of Joe Gauthier. All alone on the final row will be the unsponsored number 13 of Jason Steinhurst. 13 cars lining up on the grid here this evening. And I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we've kind of got like the cream of the crop in terms of the Silver Crown Cup here. And kind of fitting that we're going to get that up here on championship night.
Yeah, these are all of the best drivers, not only in the Silver Crowns, but frankly the best short track and kind of niche oval drivers pretty much on the service.
Zach Evans giving us a shout here, watching this one from the sidelines after an exhausting day of travel. I feel you, homie. 14 hours it took me to get from 3 hours outside of St. Louis, Missouri, back here to Philadelphia. Oh my goodness, just ridiculous.
Good bit of time spent up in the air.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit. Enough to drive you absolutely nuts.
Or fly you absolutely nuts.
Yes. So, field now making their way down through turn number 3, and we'll start to see them get doubled up. Let's take a look here. We're going to show you this one. Take it all the way back to 1980.
Oh.
1980, this first set of cameras is from. They had 4 on the NBC broadcast. As the green flag goes in the air, we are underway here at Pocono. Love seeing them fan out 3, 4, 5 wide down the front stretch. D-Love going to lead the field off to turn 1. Batista, Buckberger, Lewandowski all slot in single file. Watson now able to get it down there single as well. Mike Barry and Ben Carswell going to be the first cars that'll battle. It'll be Carswell up on the outside of the racetrack as they head down the Log Pond Straight. First time towards turn 2. For a long time, turn 2 was a place that you could not go double file through. The repaving job they did here a handful of years ago made that line work, and we saw in the Sim Racers Club, you could make the outside of turn 3 work as well, and that's what we're seeing Jeffrey Stanton and Ben Carswell do. Carswell trying to get around Mike Barry, Stanton trying to work his way around Joe Gauthier.
Did they add any extra banking to the high sides when they repaved it, or is it just the fresh asphalt is giving them a little more grip?
I think it's just the fresh asphalt, because for the first handful of years, you would see the Cup cars start running kind of like 2 lanes up off the bottom, and now they're all back to being just absolutely parked on that inside lane. Up at the front
I
of
almost wonder. Now send all hate mail. You know where to send it to. I almost wonder if a little bit of VHT on the higher lines could make Pocono a little more interesting when it comes to racing anymore. Especially through turns 2 and 3. I think turn 1, leave that alone, but turns 2 and 3, give him some room to play with on the high side.
You know what? I'm kind of torn on that. As D-Love sets a new fastest lap of the race. DL Lemon having to look inside of Ben Carswell. He's got to back out of it. Top 5 cars have broken away from 6 through, well, I guess we'll say all the way back to 13th. Yeah, I am. Oh, Carswell's up in the wall.
All over the wall.
Carswell bounces it up off the outside wall, almost gets into the back of DL Lemon into turn number 3. He's going to have a great run off the corner. No real change at the front. Your top 5 are all nose to tail, and now this second group is starting to catch up. Carswell going to have the look back inside of Lemon into turn 1. Nothing quite going there. We'll bring you up to the modern day cameras here. Some interesting looks that NBC has incorporated since taking over the race broadcast from Pocono. Some really neat high angle stuff, especially up outside of turn 2. You'll see those come in as the race goes on. Then there's this one. It's on top of the billboards in turn 3. Gives you a really neat look there as well. Slide back in the field a little bit here. Let's pick up Mike Barry, Jason Steinhurst, and Jeffrey Stanton. This race only going to be 40 laps in distance, Bizzle, which means 120 corners. It sounds like a lot, but at the rate that they're going to clip these laps off in the 52-second range, you don't have a lot of time if you're Jeffrey Stanton to start moving your way forward.
Yeah, especially you have to think of it more in straightaways. You're going to make the move into the corner. You're not so much going to make it out of it, but you have that whole straightaway to build up the move, get the draft, kind of get alongside someone entering the corner, and then make the move kind of on the entry on the brakes.
Yeah, it's basically what you would do if you were running, if you think about it in the Daytona-Talladega kind of sense, where you're using the draft to make the pass. Zach Evans is checking in. Mute Bizzle's mic. Yeah, I agree with you there. talking
on,
about
man.
the VHT. But yeah, this place is, you're tucked up in the draft and you have to absolutely maximize that down the straightaways, either with help that's going to pull out a line with you or timing your move on corner entry so that the pass is completed and you can maximize the corner exit speed.
And you know what would fix that issue? If you just spray a little VHT on the high side, then you can build a run up on the high side of the corner.
Patrick, don't be stupid.
Come on!
We don't use the toys all that often, but when they do come out, we make it worthwhile.
It's always more fun when the toys come out.
Let's take a look back to the front of the field. Your top 5 is still nose to tail. No change other than Josh Batista getting around Brandon Buckberger at the start of this race. And he is given the shove down the Long Pond straightaway to Derek Love. Backs off as they get to turn 2. And everybody is going to sit here and, quite frankly, stay well behaved. You go back to 6th place, DL Lemon. He's leading a 2-ish car train. And I say ish because Laura Gerhardt is right back behind them in the 8th position. Laura having a fantastic season inside the top 10 in points and likely, being the operative word here, to win the Division II championship. 9 starts, no wins, but 5 top 5s. Average start of 6th, average finish of 6th. She has really put up a very quietly good season.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the iRacing divisions is your Division 1 guys. Those are your guys that are fighting for the wins each and every week. They're racing in the same exact race on the same track with the Division 2 people who maybe are not fighting for first place each and every week, but fighting very respectably for 6th, 7th, and even the guys sitting there in 6th, 7th. DL Lemon, Ben Carswell. Again, 2 of the best drivers on the platform for these cars specifically, and some of the other short track cars. Just not the cream of the crop in the Silver Crowns, but you put them in NASCAR Modifieds or one of the other niche cars, they'll be right up there at the front once again.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them. And Jeffrey Stanton just getting a big piece of the outside safer barrier exiting turn 3. Mike Barry, Jason Steinhurst both taking some evasive action there. And we're already starting to see these cars slide around a little bit as we work lap number 9. I would tend to think these things are going to start to get really ugly handling-wise the later we get in this race, because you are going to burn off a ton of fuel running these long straightaways.
Yes, you will. I would imagine you're burning maybe a quarter of a gallon every time you go down that long front straightaway.
Yeah, it's a lot. And the tough one here is let's pick up Ben Carswell. That little bit of damage on the front right of his car. Most times you say, it's the Silver Crowns, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Here, that is a huge amount of speed that they are giving up down the straightaway, having Carswell in front as opposed to DL Lemon or Laura Gerhardt.
Yeah, the problem is it looks like Carswell's car is handling so much better in the corners. You see DL Lemon get right underneath him down the straightaway into turn number 2, but look how well Ben holds him off on the outside. They're going to have the run, and I can almost guarantee Ben's going to be leading coming off of turn 3. His car is just handling so much better.
Well, and this is where being able to run that outside line helps, because you're going to keep the momentum up on that high side, especially if you get a little drafting help from Laura Gerhardt. But she's going to tuck down to the inside. Looks like DL Lemon not able to get around Carswell at the line. See what he can do into turn 1 here, but this group has already lost 6 seconds to the race leaders. Man, both of those cars get a little squirrely on corner entry. Good battle and back in the pack here. Your top 5, as we mentioned, really haven't done all that much. It's still Love, Batista, Buckberger, Lewandowski, and Watson. And they are all just staying tucked up nose to tail. Watson maybe falling off the back ever so slightly. We'll slide up here and pick them up, but no, not really. Just these 5 cars, Basil, really don't have any reason to fight at this point.
Nope. Just sit back, relax, pull away from these guys that are damn near the entire straightaway behind them, and wait to make the move. There's no reason to bring out a caution and wreck a bunch of really good race cars.
DL Lemon and Laura Gerhardt finally able to complete that pass on Ben Carswell. We'll see if Carswell's going to be able to stay tucked up with them in the draft now. It's going to have Jeffrey Stanton and Mike Barry coming from behind as well. So should be able to keep this as to like a 5-car pack. The problem is we're already getting close to halfway. I don't know how you make up 7 seconds.
You don't. You wait for a caution to come out. You hope a caution comes out. Pocono, however, not really known for its cautions. Frankly, a very boring race for the flagman.
Yeah, Brandon Buckberger and Thomas Lewandowski both getting around Josh Batista through turn 3 that time by. Let's take a look at that one on corner entry on the NRN Instant Replay. See if something happened to Batista. Little bit wide on corner entry. Oh yeah, car just twitched ever so slightly. That allows both Buckberger and Lewandowski to make the pass. Wondering if the handling's not going away here on Batista's cars. Now James Watson able to come through. This time by through turn 3. So first changes we've seen towards the front of the field. Still all Derek Love, though. He has led all 13 laps that are on the board.
Yeah, and you can see Derek Love is running just a little bit higher than Buckberger is through turn 1. I almost wonder if he's doing that trying to save the tires on the car a little bit. You don't get a tire change here in Silver Crown, so saving every bit you can get for the inevitable fight towards the end of the race.
Well, yeah, not only do you not get the tire change, but also this is a place that is, I would think, is just going to absolutely cook the right front. Turn 3 being as flat as it is, that's a lot of strain on that tire. Your corner exits aren't real sharp transition-wise either. The corners kind of shoot you out of the corner. So it really is all a matter of just keeping that right front as cool and as grippy as you possibly can for late in this race.
Yeah, and you can play with the weight jacker a little bit, trying to get some weight over the right rear, get that tire to slide around a little bit more, and take some of the pressure off of the right front, because otherwise, if you cook it, your race is over and you're done.
Yeah, we see Brandon Buckberger making the move forward. I mean, he was up right underneath the tail tank of Love going into turn 2 that time. You see it at the midpoint of the race to go, okay, car's handling great. The problem is when the back end starts to come loose because you burn off all the fuel, that can exaggerate the problems you feel out of the right front.
Yeah, it's really a fine balancing act of just not overheating any of the tires. You can get them hot.
Oh,
you can get them up and over too.
Hard into the outside wall.
No caution though. That almost looks very similar to Ben Carswell's incident early in the race, but damage to both sides of that machine.
And how about the battle for the race lead off in turn 1? Buckberger inside of D-Love. He's going to get the big shove from Lewandowski. Things starting to get hot and heavy now. Love looking to fight back on the outside through turn number 3. They'll drag race to the line. This time it's going to beat Derek Love by 3 1/1000ths of a second. We're not even to the halfway point of this race yet, but with 7 seconds in hand, I guess it's okay that you can start battling now.
Yeah, they can afford to lose a little bit of time to the guys 6 on back.
Lewandowski trying to make that shove work. Just nothing there into turn 2. Right back to the bumper again. Oh, he got a Buckberger a little loose, headed towards 3.
Lewandowski's right there. He's going to try and get the gap on Derek Love. No, he's going to try and make it 3 wide. And what's James Watson doing here?
Josh Batista on pit lane as they're 3 wide in the battle for the lead to turn 1. Lewandowski, 2 for 1 special.
Oh, Lewandowski getting a little bit sideways. Shoots up the racetrack for Derek Love.
I was about to say turn on the blue light special, but we might do it again. Derek Love up the middle. He's now back to the point. Man, that's even better. You get 2 blue light specials in 1 trip to the Kmart. Eating good tonight.
You know, I was just on Long Island. I forgot again to take a picture in front of one of the last remaining Kmarts in the world.
Great look.
We were still broadcasting fuel when I said I was going to do that.
That is correct. Man, this battle at the front is absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look. Let's go on board with Brandon Buckberger. Currently running in position number 3. Oh, such a tight battle up front. There's the shove to Lewandowski. Oh, man. Good Lord, that's how you go from shoving somebody to turning somebody. Now go on board with James Watson. Man, these cars are all sorts of twitchy in front of them. Good Lord. It could be 2 by 2 over the start-finish line if they're not 3 wide. I'll tell you what, though, I kind of like what I'm seeing out of Watson here, too. You're not fighting, you're not battling, and you're not burning up the right front tire either.
These guys seem to have calmed down just a little bit.
Yeah, calm down, I think, is kind of a relative term in some respects. This battle is still good. I'll tell you what, the other one back here is just as good, too. DL Lemon, Mike Barry, Ben Carswell, Jeffrey Stanton. And trouble for Josh Batista all the way back now in the 13th position. Gosh, the way these leaders are battling, you feel like it's going to be a 2-car shootout by the end of this thing. There's only so much you can run wheel to wheel until the netcode gods start rearing their ugly head, knocking on wood. Yeah, Zach Evans is thinking the same thing. James Watson is waiting for the wreck. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, so tight off of turn 3.
Yeah, Watson's kind of just sitting back there chilling, maybe eating some popcorn. You never know with him. He races in a beanbag chair, so he's definitely got some popcorn next to him.
We need that for the soundboard. Can't pit. We're eating ice cream.
There you go.
So top 4 are all in line now as Buckberger ever so slightly ahead as they get to turn number 2. Lemon, Barry, Carswell, and Stanton, 5 through 8. They're all pretty close together. Same for Joe Gauthier, Zach Scott Nicky, and Jason Steinhurst. These 3 cars all nose to tail, running back for 9th, 10th, and 11th. There you have that battle with Barry Carswell and Stanton a little bit further back. A little bit surprised, Bizzle, to see Jeffrey Stanton so far back, but he also hasn't had a whole lot of time to be practicing these Silver Crown cars either. Playoffs? Talk about playoffs?
How was Lewandowski pulled away this far from these 3?
Well, quite frankly, because Buckberger and Love have been side by side for so much of the last 5 laps or so. Looking at the 10 and 15 lap averages, they're all really close. The 5 lap averages, Buckberger and Love are in the 53 second, almost 53 ones, to a 52.8 5 lap average for Brandon Buckberger.
Yeah, so all that battling is really, really slowing them down. You can just see how far it's pulling them back.
But now the flip side of that coin is when the 3 of them get lined up in the draft, they're going to catch right back up, though. That's kind of it's Newton's 4th law of motion. For every draft pack you have, the pack will catch the single car out front. That's basically all they got to do is just run single file here, and they'll get this gap made up pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's see how quickly they catch it up on the front straightaway. Already up a 10th. Can we make it 2/10 by turn number 1? Just about.
Yeah, Zach Evans makes a great point here. Weather has been Jeffrey Stanton's biggest enemy this season. Summer North Carolina thunderstorms plus dicey internet equals problems. Interestingly, the session weather conditions tonight are basically identical to what these cars practiced in. 96 degree track temperature, winds fairly calm out of the northwest. Really kind of what these drivers have practiced in all, at least in the sessions today, since the swap over from Myrtle Beach. But yeah, it kind of gets that feeling of if you had the time to practice, you probably could dial the setup in, and with the weather changes that iRacing made in Season 3, that really is becoming more and more critical. You almost have to have setups custom tailored to different weather conditions.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the setup shops are doing now, where they're making a setup not only for 70 degree track temperature, then a 90 degree track temperature, and then like a super hot for like 110 degree track temperature. And you kind of got to tweak it from there to fit your more specific track temperatures of whatever the race session is.
Quite frankly, and your driving style too, because the hotter it gets, the slipperier it's going to be. That's where you have to take into consideration how much do you slide the front end of the car around? Do you prefer the back end to be a little bit looser? It's nice when the shops give you the ability to say, hey, we're going to give you our setup pack for the week. You're going to have, like you said, kind of 3 ranges of weather conditions, and then you can dial it in and really customize it to yourself. With your leaders now in line and behaving themselves, they've caught right back up to Thomas Lewandowski. Saw the comment pop up on the screen from Robert Kreiser. Hope you're doing well, brother. Actually, coming up this weekend, it'll be the Labor Day shootout at Lanco's Clyde Martin Memorial Speedway. I think Saturday and Sunday races there this year. Let's take a slide back here and pick up the next pack of cars. That's going to be DL Lemon, Jeffrey Stanton, Mike Barry, and Ben Carswell. Carswell doing a nice job to hang on to this group with that damaged right front. As we mentioned, you go a little bit further back, you pick up Zach Scott Nicky, Jason Steinhurst, and Joe Gauthier. They're starting to make up some ground, only about 3 seconds back of that second pack of cars. But at this point, we're going to be down to 10 laps to go next time by. Now's kind of when it's time to start getting after it if you're these four at the front. With the troubles that Josh Batista had in this race, Brandon Buchberger will lock in second place in points, entering the night on 1,411 points. Batista should be okay for third. He had a 77-point lead over Derek Love. But if D. Love picks up a win here, that could change. Jeffrey Stanton, fifth in points, only with a 100-point gap to James Watson for that fifth position. But it's only 2 positions on the racetrack right now. So Stanton and Watson should be safe there. Laura Gerhardt looks possibly to be your Division II champ, with Joe Gauthier being only 14 points back, but you got to factor in the drop weeks and stuff. Also, give a shout out to Vic Aldrich, who will claim the Division III championship. Vic running a couple of times up on the top split this season, a handful of times I would say. Tonight running in second split, but Vic will claim himself a Division III champion, and pretty cool thing to do for his late brother Jeff that he lost during this season. Inside of 10 to go, here comes D-Love inside of Lewandowski to 1. Man, Lewandowski, great drive off the corner though. Where do Buchberger and Watson go now?
Sit right back there and wait. Yeah, maybe Buchberger's not waiting. It almost looked like he was going to open up a gap there.
I was just going to say, Brandon Buchberger is not the guy who's going to be patient. And that's not a negative in any way, shape, or form either. He's a guy who wants to be at the front and will push the race car to get there. Oh, as Lewandowski bounces it off the wall. Buchberger and Watson take evasive action. Now it's going to be 3 wide to turn 1 for second. Did Watson's tire saving come to help him? Let's see. Man, what an incredible run at the mid-corner for Lewandowski. Able to get by Watson. He's going to have a shot at Buchberger into turn 2. May not take it, though, because now if you start to battling side by side and you let Derek Love get away, you're going to burn 4 or 5 laps just trying to catch him.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to wait to pounce, and kind of like we saw in SRC earlier in the week, or earlier last week, just don't let anyone else get the move on you. Make the move so late that no one can retaliate.
Down to 7 to go. Buchberger now holding the second position. Lewandowski about a half a car width inside as they ran through turn number 1 that time. Here comes Buchberger down the long pond straightaway. Lewandowski tucks back up in line behind D-Love. Slides back in behind Buckberger now at the midpoint of the corner. This is almost like Lewandowski is choosing which line to run instead of which car he wants to stay behind. Man, maybe a little bit loose for Buckberger there on corner exit. Brandon Buckberger has been a guy this season where if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. Has the look into two, nothing going there just yet. It's interesting to watch Watson and Lewandowski. They kind of fall back a little bit. They catch right back up again. This car is really, really draft dependent.
Yeah, it's interesting to think of a car with no wings as being draft dependent, but these things they're massive. They don't look it on the camera, but you sit these things next to even a NASCAR stock car and these are bigger.
Oh, Love almost got into the safer barrier, exiting turn one. Lewandowski gives the shove to Buckberger. They get to turn two. Buckberger will be clear. Now Lewandowski's going to have the look inside of Love. They're to the point now with just 4 laps to go that even the slightest kiss of the outside wall will be race ending for you. Buckberger does a nice job, runs the middle line through 1 and 2. Oh, it slides right up in front of Love. Buckberger almost blocking off each lane as he runs his way through the corner. Oh, there's D-Love. He's up into the outside wall.
Is Watson the only one that hasn't touched anything?
Quite possibly. Now with 3 to go, Lewandowski wants a win. He wants to take the championship and the win in the final race of the season. Buckberger wants a shot to deny the champ the win. And quite frankly, build some momentum into next season. 11 starts, no wins for Buckberger, but 8 top 5 finishes has him within 135 points of the championship. Watson does have a couple of wins this season. He wants a big one here as well. Love now running about 0.6 of a second behind Watson. Down to just 2 to go. Where does Lewandowski make the move? Thought about it off at turn 1. He is. He's going to get a great run down the Long Pond Straight.
Now, is this too early? Is Buckberger going to have a chance to retaliate on the last lap? And Watson's going to be right there, too.
Watson's there, and look who's back at the party. D-Love, that was like a quick step outside, grab a heater. He's right back into things now. As your top 4 will be single file over the start-finish line. White flag is out, 1 to go here at Pocono. Love looks inside of Watson to turn 1. Clears Watson, now looks inside of Buckberger. They have to be hoping for the drag race to the line. Buckberger backs off ever so slightly into turn 2. He wants to set up the run off the corner. Wow!
I think that's going to kill his chance on Lewandowski. Maybe not.
Buckberger going to give up a lot of speed through turn number 3. Off the final corner, checkered flag in the air. Love's all the way to the inside. Lewandowski wins. Buckberger comes home second. D-Love third to round out your podium. And James Watson fourth.
Did Derek Love get third, or did Watson pass him before he hit the inside wall?
It looks like Watson.
Initially, it looks like Love.
And let's take a look here. Jeffrey Stanton and Mike Barry putting on an incredible show off the final corner as we were watching the battle for the race lead. Let's show you the replay here between Barry and Stanton drag racing to the line. Both cars getting a little loose, a little sideways. Wow, that was tight at the line. Jeffrey Stanton pips Mike Barry by 0.08 of a second in the battle for the 5th position. But as we go back to the live look here, let's see. Let's pull back the graphics here. We'll do our victory lane interview since we've got everybody in the booth. And let's see. I think we're going to start things tonight with 3rd place finishing Derek Love. And man, I'll tell you what, Derek, I thought with about 2 or 3 laps to go, your race was over. Little scrape of the wall, but man, the draft was just huge, and you're able to get James there on the last lap.
What do you mean you thought it was over? You counting me out?
Yes.
You can't be counting me out. No. Can't be counting me out. Can't be doing that.
That's why Derek likes me better.
Yep.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Well, we're just happy to finish up there. That was really anyone's race. Putting it in the wall there a little bit definitely didn't help, but who knows how it would have ended otherwise. I sent it definitely on the last lap, turn 1, just get up next to him and get another shot at it, but that was fun. I was kind of a menace up there, just trying to make us 2 wide, 3 wide multiple times. Figured to put on a good show for you guys up there. Not much else to talk about with Pocono usually, so.
Well, yeah, and you led a race high 22 laps. It's kind of one of those places that, yes, you can get single file, wait until the white flag lap, and then everybody goes ballistic. But it's got to be a whole lot more fun back there to, like you said, to kind of be the menace and say, hey, I'm going to be the guy that's going to push things here tonight.
Any chance I get, if my car handles good, I'm gonna do it. There's a lot of times where you just get a car that just does not drive, and you're like, all right, well, just take the spot because it's not worth it. But as you saw, I could make that car work on the inside, outside, anywhere. So I was like, well, last race of the season, let's do it.
Well, it was a heck of a show you guys put on for us here tonight, and quite frankly, not a bad run in the championship either. Looks like you're going to come home 4th in the standings, maybe an outside chance of catching Josh for 3rd with the issue he had tonight. But
I've got some drops, so I think that might jump up. We'll have to see, but I think that's going to jump up. I didn't do the math yet.
Well, I can do it for you. Yes, you did pass Josh for 3rd, sitting on 1,400 points for the season, and only 49 back of Brandon for 2nd. Really, all season long, a great battle that, quite frankly, like the top 6 of you guys put on.
Yeah, I wish I had a better showing. We had some DNFs this season, so, shout out to Thomas, Brandon. I know Brandon's been fighting to get that win. Just got to stay at it. That's the same what I'm going to have to do right now. Just finish some races. Shout out James, Josh, Jeffrey. Everyone ran a good season, so... and thanks for you guys putting on the show.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming in, and looking forward to enjoying the week off, quite frankly, and then we're going to be back for season 4. But before we let you go, do all the other big sponsor plugs and thank yous you have here for us too.
Yeah, just the final shout out, Street Side Classics. Thanks, man. See ya.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. That's Derek Love, your third place finisher tonight. And now let's bring in Brandon Buckberger, our runner-up finisher. Just a fantastic drive tonight. The car was good. Seemed like you were really doing a nice job of managing the right side tires as well. Was that something that came into play the later this race went on?
No.
It's funny. You can hear the frustration in your voice. I can't say you can't be too frustrated. A really good season, 12 starts and 9 top 5 finishes. When Thomas Lewandowski goes out and puts up the season that he did, second has got to feel at least a little bit good here to wrap up a second place spot in the points.
No, not at all. No trophies. Didn't get a win last 2 seasons here, so I'm going to take a break next season.
Well, you know what? Sometimes that's a good thing. Kind of reset yourself, find what you love about the race car again, and come back fresh in 2024 Season 1. I guess that will be kicking off in December. But Brandon, thank you much for joining us up here in the booth. We appreciate it. And anybody you want to shout out and mention before we let you go here?
Nope.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us. And now let's bring in our race winner and 2023 Season 3 champion, Thomas Lewandowski. Talk us through this one a little bit, because we had just, quite frankly, some absolutely incredible battles up front. It says you led 15 laps, but it seemed like everybody was only leading a few at a time, and you guys were doing a bunch of lead trading out there.
Yeah, it was quite the race. My hand's a little cramped after that one, but there's at one point where Derek and Brandon got racing side by side, and I almost broke the draft, but they got back in line just in time. They're 7.7 back, which like the draft breaks at like 0.8, so it was super close. But then that once they caught back up, it was just a free for all, and it was just a kind of finding spots where someone would make a little mistake and you get the run, and you just have to hopefully try to clear them or hope to make another mistake while they're on the outside.
Yeah, it seemed like the 3 car, it was you, Brandon, and James were the 3 that were undamaged over the course of this race. And quite frankly, that was sort of a key. You just could not get the car up into the outside wall, and quite frankly, it seemed a little bit difficult to not do that at points in this race.
Yeah, that tunnel turn, man, it's so easy to get you. But then actually turn 3 off 3 today, I was a little loose a few times and kind of held my breath a few of them. But you don't want to have a damaged car, especially a big track like this where arrows so important.
Excuse me. Good God, I'm choking on myself over here. Well, we'll wrap up the discussion of Pocono and talk about one of the most dominant seasons we've seen in the Silver Crowns. 17 starts, 9 wins, 15 top 5s. Your average start was 2. Your average finish was 2. And you wrap up the championship by about 150 points over Brandon. Just congratulations, man. An absolutely incredible season you put on here.
Thanks. And it's kind of funny because the first race of the season was at Iowa, and that's when I ran out of fuel while leading on the last lap there. So it could have been better, actually, but you know what, I'll take it. It was I just got lucky with how things went with you not getting wrecked or getting involved in other people's stuff. So
yeah, that quite frankly putting on a Max Verstappen-esque clinic here this season. But what's really interesting to me about it is it was only 150 points in a structure that can wildly vary how many points you get offered for a race win and finishing based on the SOF and all that stuff. We really had a pretty tight season. The entire top 6 was within 300 points. Speaks to how good the show is here in the Silver Crown Cup.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just for example, like those guys that like Brandon and everything. Like last season, 1397 was the points total that won the championship, and he scored 1449. So, like that, he had a championship-winning season. Like this, the season, and so did Derek, really, and Josh. Like all those guys, any other season, if I just, don't get, as lucky as I did this season, they, would have been right there racing for it. So.
Yeah, it was a hell of a show you guys put on these last 12 weeks. I'm assuming you're going to enjoy the week off next week before we come back for 23 Season 4. But before we let you go here, brother, once again, congratulations on the championship, and make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous here, too.
I just got to say, thank you to you guys, for, broadcasting these. You guys do a great job at it. All my buddies over at Draw, Larry, John, Bob, Marcus, they, all help me out from time to time stuff and are always there for moral support. That's about it, just, thanks again and have a great day.
All right,
or
buddy.
night.
Yeah, thank you much, brother. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us up in the booth here. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we got a show once again. I didn't quite frankly think we were going to see the race that we saw here at Pocono because so many times the race just gets single file and kind of plays itself out in, well, the most boring of fashions, and that just wasn't the case tonight. No? Nothing? All right. I guess we got nothing.
Excuse me.
Oh, there you go. Hit the button, Diggy.
I'm going over here talking. I got the cough button pushed in. Yeah, Pocono, all racing this season we've had has been fantastic. I don't know if iRacing's changed the circuit, if they did something sneaky on us, but every race this season so far has been great. And like you said, usually Pocono is kind of a snooze fest, but not these past 12 weeks.
No, it's been good. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to some of the updates that are coming here over the next week or so. Actually, I guess 2 weeks from tonight is when everything will really have fully dropped. But Kern County Raceway is coming, both dirt and asphalt versions, which is going to be wildly fun to run almost any car on the platform on. We're getting a couple of new road courses. There's been whispers about rain. I don't think it's going to happen this season. But, man, just so many things that iRacing is working on right now. That this update that's coming in a couple of weeks, and then the 2024 Season 2 update, I think is going to be one of the biggest in the history of the platform.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal with all of the updates. I mean, iRacing has been hiring new people, picking up other development firms. So each and every update should be getting bigger, and usually the Season 3 update is the biggest one of the year, where kind of everything snowballs, getting ready for the Christmas time, everyone to buy their new subscriptions, and then we wait again for the next year of all the fantastic updates that come to the platform.
Yeah, that's the only one that makes me think we could see rain, is that it becomes the big selling point heading into the holiday season. It gives everybody that's on the platform now a chance to really get a feel for it before you head to something like the Daytona 24 that's coming up in January, which, if you're going to have rain, I think that's when you're going to see it. But a lot more of that stuff to talk about here over the rest of this week, as we will have Summer Season Championship coming up for the Sim Racers Club this Wednesday night from Michigan International Speedway. That will air at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Coming up on Thursday, championship night for the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader. USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 champions will be crowned at Sonoma Raceway. You'll be able to see that one at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as well. And then we have an entire week off. No broadcast whatsoever the first week of September, which is absolutely, I couldn't tell you the last time we had a week without iRacing content to air, but that's what we got.
What are we going to do?
I'll be doing a ton of other work, quite frankly. But yeah, we might have to do some Fastmasters that week. Week 13 is kind of prime time for Fastmasters stuff. But then we'll be back. Silver Crowns are coming back next season. TNT Shock resumes on September 12th. Sim Racers Club is back again for their fall season. And U.S. Open Wheel Cars will be back in some way, shape, or form, kicking off that second week of September as well. We've got a lot coming up, and we'll get you all the updates here over the next couple of weeks as we get ready to roll. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. It's been a fantastic season. Bizzle, thank you very much. I appreciate your companionship on a Monday night. A lot of fun getting to hang out with you, brother. And everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen. Our modified writer, Mark Hackett, excellent job as always, man. Content almost every day of the week from him. Ben Carswell writing IndyCar. Alex Gray writing NASCAR. Great work out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this past week. Or a couple of weeks ago, I guess. Man, just an incredible crew we have here. And we thank you all for tuning in as well. But with that, we're getting the hell out of here. For Bizzle and everybody else at NRN that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.